Damn!
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a great video on a unique and a very distinct car, the Lamborghini Countach. I played around with this tune on numerous builds. I was able to put together a 600 performance point option as well, but I found it really came to its own tuned up a bit higher. It even allows it to compete on one of the biggest money earning races in the game right now, the 8-lap Le Mans circuit. A full recap of the tune will be summarized at the end of the video, showcasing all parts and all adjustments needed. So why did I want to do this tune? Well, it's just because it's the Lambo Countach. So this car is fun to drive, it sounds great, it handles somewhat like you'd expect a high-powered missile to handle, meaning in terms of acceleration and overall top speed it's just incredible. In terms of cornering and braking, it's not bad, but there are certainly other options from the same era that'll do better. This car, even with the tune we're going to cover here today, does take some awareness of its handling during the limit. In multiple corners or applying power during roll, you'll lose traction. But once you get a feel for where and when this car will bite, you can easily get used to the handling and compensate accordingly. Just a quick note, I didn't build this tune to be a top money earner. I was getting bored of running the same 1 to 2 tracks continually to earn some cash, and I wanted to look at a road car that gives you another option. So similar to the Ford GT, this car just feels different than anything else I've driven on these tracks, and it's just fun to drive. So here's a bit of history on the Countach. It went into production in 1974 as the LP400. Only 150 units were made, but it did evolve over time, so it eventually changed into the LP400S and advanced into the LP500S, and finally in 1985 came out as the Quattroporte, aimed directly at outperforming the Ferrari Testarossa. This Countach came to the table with a 5.2 liter V12 engine, and it produced over 448 horsepower. In Gran Turismo 7, this car is represented by the 25th anniversary Countach, which is essentially the same, but it had enhanced styling to the exterior, and eventually became the car's best-selling production model with over 657 units sold. So let's get into the tune. So in terms of stat changes, the car moves from about 540 performance points upwards to just under 700. This particular build hovers at 695. Max power goes up to 522 horsepower, and torque hovers around 406 pounds. In terms of acceleration performance, it's much faster off the line and just in general, and its handling also improves as well, meaning you can take corners at a higher entry and exit speed. So in terms of permanent upgrades, the only permanent upgrades we did to this car are around stage 3 weight reduction. In terms of performance upgrades, there's a bunch. So this build is particularly built around racing medium tires. The reason for that was that is the only way you can get this car without permanent upgrades to get into that 700 performance points level. The reason I did it this way is that I wanted to have the flexibility to adjust the car later down the road, and I didn't want to add permanent upgrades to the car just to the overall cost of the unit. So for performance upgrades, we're looking at fully customized suspension, fully customized LSD. I've added front and rear aero available through GT Auto, a full control computer, a fully customized racing transmission, and additional racing components like an air filter, muffler, exhaust manifold, racing discs and pads, and a clutch and flywheel. So what were the adjustments made? Overall, I lowered the body height, I adjusted the camber and toe angle, I made changes to the LSD to make it more stable under load, I increased the downforce for both the front and rear, and I revised the gearing to have expanded gearing versus the stock car. This gives the car a more aggressive stance, it gives you better handling overall, and a better entry and exit speed on corners, and it better maintains traction over heavy acceleration and body roll. And just in general, this car is a blast to drive. So this car performs well against any competitor and has strong acceleration and overall top speed. Even with the fuel mapping set to 6 for this race, you can easily run the fastest lap. Most of the lap times you'll see are around the 4 minute 15 second to 4 minute 17 second range. Now, it's important to note that this car is slightly unstable under acceleration while cornering. I'd recommend while driving this one, you brake and accelerate in a straight line as much as possible before you roll. Another thing to notice on this course is that you will be on fumes after 3 laps. So while this build is fun, you'll definitely need to pit twice to finish this race. So it's not going to be the fastest car to earn credits with, but it's definitely one of the funner builds I've done on this track. In terms of the fuel mapping, I mentioned that you need 3 laps complete before you refill. You will have to also throttle your inputs a bit. So on lap 2 and 3 on the long straights, I am running the build roughly at about 80 or 90% throttle, just to ensure I have enough to get to the end. So when I say you're on fumes, you're literally going to be down to 0.1 or 0 laps remaining as you get in to pit this car. This car handles great on dry roads, it's less than stellar on wet roads even with full wet tires, so pit accordingly and try not to get caught out on a wet track on racing tires. As I mentioned, I've been running this car, completing a full 3 laps on fuel map 6, pitting to replace tires and fuel up, running another 2 to 3 laps, and depending on the weather is when I'll choose to pit, fully topping up on fuel, and then I've been going near full tilt for the last 2 laps depending on my fuel remaining. It's been fun, it's been a bit challenging, and it's changed up the way I've been earning credits. Overall, the car is just fantastic. I've geared this car specifically to be optimized while you're at fuel mapping 6. So you'll notice when you run out of straightaway, you're just coming to the top of your power band. When you do set this mapping to 1 or 2 on the final 2 laps, you'll notice that you're overdriving the car a bit, so it handles just as fine. It's a non-issue, but you will be at the high end of your RPMs as you get through the streets. So given I tuned this car to be a low credit earner and offer a change of pace, feel free to adjust it as you need. It might not be ideal for all people, but this is the build that I found works best for me, and I kind of like how it feels on the track. As I mentioned before, I tried to steer clear of any permanent upgrades, excluding the weight reduction, and I didn't add a wide body kit to the car. The reason was, because of the cost of the car, I wanted this still to have some flexibility to tune it up or further down the road if needed. So the bulk of the upgrades we've made to this car can be reversed as needed, giving you some flexibility on when and how you can drive it. This car is located in the used lot section of GT7 and is available right now. So if you miss it, or if you happen to be watching this video at a later date, don't worry, the car will cycle back into the lot. Just be sure to grab it when you can. I assure you it's definitely worth it. This particular car was about $690,000. While we're not sure if its pricing varies due to mileage, you could see it later on at a different price. Either way, a single run of Le Mans pays for it, so it's something any collector should add to their garage. In terms of livery, there's nothing special here. I just dressed it up to mirror the 21st anniversary edition silver that was used for this car's launch. I did change the wheels. Because of the width of the tires, you can get some fantastic wheel options on this thing, and it just shows a ton of curve. The only other change was the customer rear spoiler. I kept it the stock color, but I deckled the midsection black to differentiate it from the body of the car. I've posted the delivery should people want it. Again, I'm sure there's a ton of better options out there. I wanted to try and keep this car as close to stock as possible, and just make it look a bit different with the aftermarket wheels. So as always, I hope you enjoy this tune, and I hope this gives you a reason to get the Countach out of the garage, because it is honestly a great car to drive. It's fun, fast, and it sounds amazing. If you enjoyed these tunes, please like and comment below. It greatly helps with my channel growth on YouTube, and it helps steer me in the right direction for content creation. If you're looking to connect with others from around gaming in general, or get sneak peeks on upcoming tunes, feel free to join our 22 Gaming Discord. We're a growing community of like-minded mature gamers covering multiple titles. If you're looking to game with someone at any time, 22 Gaming has got you covered. As always, thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.